Welcome to the Spotlight On series, where we get to sit down and speak to some of the most inspirational market leaders from some of the UK's most exciting brands. We'll learn about their careers, their challenges, and their achievements, all to inspire you to help you grow your careers. Hello and welcome to this episode of Spotlight On series, where we track the career progression of marketing experts across the industry. And today we've got the very awesome Matthew.
Hi.
Matthew, to kick things off, maybe could you start with giving us a little bit about yourself, your current role, and the company that you're working for at the moment?
Of course. So hi, I'm Matthew Rice. I'm the head of CRM for Financial Wellness Group, which is a financial services company based in Manchester. I studied marketing at university and have worked across different industries over the last 10 years.
And then so the company that you're in at the moment, what is head of CRM? What do you cover? What's your sort of a typical day or week look like?
So I guess the typical day is mainly focusing on the communications to customers, which is what you'd usually get within the CRM department. We offer a variety of different products that are financial related. With that comes a lot of different regulatory things. So on a day-to-day basis, there's usually a change that we need to make to some form of our comms or some form of letters or anything like that. And I guess really it's just working with the other departments that we have. So a large part of our business is a call centre, so we're heavily integrated with the operations and speaking to them, just really about what's going on with the customers, what needs to be changed. A lot of it is automated, so it's really keeping on top of that automated processes and just keeping things up to date.
And how much has kind of data and technology, I guess, fed into the CRM roles that you've kind of had experience in?
This one's definitely been probably the most within the technology. We've recently gone through a migration to a new system. When I joined the company, it was a lot of older systems that had been there for such a long time. So slowly we've been migrating to new systems, and because it's all automated, it's really data driven rather than a bulk CRM role, which is usually promotional based and based off what people are buying. In the role that I'm in now, it's not that kind of environment. So it's much more where customers are within the journey and trying to pinpoint when we need to speak to them and when to try and get them to engage with us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably the biggest role I've been in regards to data and technology.
And I guess from your perspective, how did you fall into sort of a CRM role? Is it kind of, have you always specialised in that particular side of things, or have you sort of had experience across different parts of marketing and then sort of ended up where you are?
Yeah, so I started off in quite general roles, came straight out of uni and was quite lucky to get marketing jobs straight out of university, working in various different sectors as well. I started off in construction and then moved over to beauty, which are quite conflicting.
The natural transition.
Yeah, the natural transition, construction to beauty. And they were more general roles. So one of the biggest, the main role that I had when I came out of university was working for Boots at their head office in Nottingham. And that was in the international marketing department. So it was looking at store POS, it was looking at emails, looking at socials, looking at quite a lot of different things, as well as working on projects. So really, I took the bits that I really liked over those first couple of 3 or 4 years, and then moved up to Manchester to work for M Brown Group, where I then started to specialise in CRM. And at the time, I didn't really know what it was and I think a lot of people wouldn't really understand what it is today.
Yeah.
And if you speak to different people, it means different things. But what I've mainly learned over the years is that it's just about keeping that relationship going with the customer, wherever that might be. At the moment, email's the biggest thing that people focus on, but it can be various different things. At the moment, my role covers email, SMS, app, but also touch points with the call centres and also with the websites as well, and how does it all feed in together. So it's over that time I've just niched it down.
And it's just been a bit of a natural progression.
Yeah.
From the agency side, we're seeing lots of shifts at the moment from third-party data to first-party data, sort of feeding into things, and that is generally changing what businesses or how businesses need to approach their marketing strategy. From your perspective, what key attributes go into being good within CRM? What are the skill sets that can kind of separate someone who's amazing at it versus someone who might, say, be better off following a path into social or content or SEO or something different?
I think it's definitely about having like 50-50 or like having multiple hats. It's great to be really data driven and analytical, but you also need to have that creative side. Like you need to be able to look at something and go, this looks great, this is engaging, this is gonna, customers are gonna want to see this and want to engage with it. But you also need to be able to do the data driven side and be able to analyze the data and see, what's highlighted to like that can make things better for the customer journey. So it really is about having those two touch points and being technology driven as well. Because a lot of CRM jobs are very technical, and depending on the systems that you do use, they can be a very technical system. You also get really user-friendly systems, but you can get a bit of both. So it's not being afraid to dive into the data and the creative and also the technology.
So basically a bit of everything there.
Bit of everything,
so you have to be well versed across a number of different things. When we were chatting a couple of weeks ago, you kind of threw a really cool stat out, which is actually CRM for a lot of businesses can be something like 50 or 60% of their sort of revenue driving. Like, can you sort of tell us a bit more about that as a channel and how it fits into a lot of the sort of broader marketing mix?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the company, but a lot of the time people don't realize that actually CRM is, even if you're not calling it that, it's there as part of your business, and it can be the first, second or third largest sales driver within your business or engagement driver, depending on what the business is. Like I've worked for companies where it's been the second, it's been the third, might not be the first in those particular companies, but it's there driving the revenue and driving the customer engagement. And I think a lot of people just really don't understand that actually it's a really big part of how companies engage with their customers and keep their customers coming back, whether or not it's for sales or whether in my current role it's for engagement and trying to get them to be happy on the plan or whatever that they're on. It's a big part of the communication mix to what's happening in the company.
Cool. So then that's like loads of cool information or great information around it as a channel. Like, tell me a little bit more about your career journey to kind of end up where you are. Like, where did you start? You mentioned Boots and some international roles. What's your progression look like? Yeah,
so I started off quite general, and then working in the international department was great experience because it meant I got to work across various different markets. And then when I moved into CRM, it was very UK based, and it was good to then hone those skills based on the UK as well. And at the time, that was mainly print. Print was print catalogs. It was all that kind of stuff that was really the driver of revenue for that company. Yeah. With a small mix of email in there, and that's obviously changed over the past 10 years. However, I then did have a sidestep into social. I wanted to try it out, keep learning different things, and did social for a year as well.
Yeah, okay. And where was that? Was that?
That was at M Brown, for a menswear brand called Giacomo. So,
yeah, okay.
That was great to see how it can then mix in with what else I was doing in CRM and how the different departments interact with each other. But then decided to go back to CRM. So that's when I went to the Hook Group and worked in their beauty department.
So then back to beauty. So has basically the exposure to different parts of the marketing channels, has that all contributed towards being better within CRM, or kind of are the skill sets very different?
Yeah, I think having the experience across different channels shows you how they all interact with each other and makes you a bit more aware of it. So in roles now, I can understand that something I'm doing now might affect the paid media team, or might affect the affiliates team, or however it might interact. And I think having that experience at the very beginning of my career really helped with understanding and helped me progress a little bit quicker, because I then was able to see how things could affect other departments and how you could utilize CRM data in paid media campaigns and social campaigns and all that kind of stuff, and how you could interlock to the departments a little bit better. So I definitely think that's played an important role.
One of the other things that really stuck out when we caught up a couple of weeks ago was how it sounded like quite a lot of opportunities that landed on your door had kind of come as a result of some experiences you had like right the way back at uni. So you did a placement, an international placement in at uni, which then kind of fed into like opportunities that cropped up at Boot.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about like where those international opportunities came from and how they maybe fed into your progression?
Yeah, so it's a bit random when people look at my CV, but people always enjoy talking about it. So I did my placement year at Walt Disney World in Florida.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great story, and it was a great experience as well. So I got to live out there for a year, and worked in the parks / in the rest, like in various different places. You do like placements while you're out there, but then also you studied marketing. So I studied marketing, leadership, and people management with Disney. They have a Disney University.
That's pretty cool as well.
And you get a graduation from the Disney University as well, which is pretty cool.
A picture with Mickey Mouse.
I've got one. But that experience really, like when I came back, actually helped me. And it doesn't sound on the face of it that it would do, but because you've had some life experience that is slightly different to other people as well, it then helped me get the role at Boots. Like I remember speaking to my manager at the time, like that was something that stood out because you actually got different life experience. We're an international company. You understand a different market that someone else might not have done, even if you weren't working in marketing at the time whilst you were over there. You've been embedded in the culture. So it really helped with that like first job out of university because it was something that I could talk about and also something that people found interesting. So I definitely recommend it to people.
And has that then stuck with you for almost each role that you've got into? You've always been able to lean back on something around internationalization or working with different zones or regions, whatever it might be.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the time, even if my job hasn't been related to international marketing, there's still elements of CRM where you have to be open to what's happening in the rest of the world. So my current role is very UK based, but when I was at the Hook Group, it was the entire world.
Yeah.
So it was all of beauty for all of the different markets. So Asia, the US, the UK, Europe, everywhere. So as you dip in and out of them, I've learned more specifically for CRM as well. But because I had that experience of being international and knowing things are different, it helps with the mindset that, things are different in each of these markets. You need to change the way that you're thinking when you're planning or if you're doing any of the work. So like with Germany with the double opt-in and all that kind of stuff that's very CRM related in regards to like GDPR and consent. So so it's definitely helped.
It's definitely helped. The companies that you've actually worked for as well, they've been all different shapes and sizes. What's been like, what's for you? What's been a good steer on focus on where you've wanted to end up working? Has it been size of a company? Has it been how fast they're growing? Is it something else to do with the company? What's important to you?
So I think size of the company doesn't show you how the culture is, and the culture is actually the main thing that's really important to me. It's different as your career progresses as well because your priorities change. For me, the people culture and how they treat their employees and how they treat their customers really shows how that experience is going to be for you over time. If they're really a customer-focused company and they're trying to do everything they can to drive growth, but also like engagement and happiness for their customer base, it generally correlates with how they treat their staff and their employees because it generally means they've got that mindset of caring for the base and how it's making sure that progresses in the right way. So for me, it's actually looking at what are you doing to drive engagement with your customers as well as your staff.
Yeah, okay. And then if you were sort of heading into the sector for the first time, so you're fresh out of university or fresh out of college, school, whatever it might be, today, where would you be finding sort of the sorts of jobs that are within CRM, or how would you be advising people to progress within this particular part of marketing?
So I think to actually find them there's generally jobs everywhere. So they might be called email specialists, they might be called CRM, they might be called something else. Generally, they're always there. And again, it goes back to the point where people don't necessarily realise it's the CRM department. I think at the beginning of your career, it's definitely great to have that experience, but also great to do the general marketing and get, wear a couple of hats, see what you like to do. That's how I got into it. And I then found my niche area that I was like, actually, this is it works for me, I'm customer orientated, this role is customer orientated, and you can develop that over the time. My advice is still, make sure you wear that data-driven hat, but also make sure you wear that design, customer, creative hat as well.
So last question then from me is mainly around sort of like your biggest successes today. What's been the parts of your career that you've gone, actually, do you know what? I'm most proud of that. Yeah, big question.
That's a very good question. I mean, working abroad, because I have had the opportunity to go and work abroad and do, various different brand acquisitions, and from a CRM point of view, when that's happened, been able to do it. I got to go and work in New York and work on Wall Street is a career highlight for me.
That's very cool.
Just being able to tick that off the box and being like, yeah, I worked on Wall Street, even if it was just for a week. I did that, and it was, it's really great from, going to university in like a small city like Sheffield to then being able to have those opportunities. It's a really good thing. And I think as time's gone on, just really honing the skills for CRM. Like, I'm really happy with where I am with my career at this age. And I think, if I was to tell myself, university 21-year-old self, you'd be like, actually, you're going to really enjoy this. And I think just carry on.
Cool, amazing. Well, thanks so much for joining. That's really insightful and hopefully some great advice for everyone watching.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for watching. For more content like this, don't forget to sign up to our newsletter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social.